I have the feeling that we have gathered so much support. I know that bringing our cause before the voters was the right option.
Oh, you are correct. Bringing the question to the people. And there are some men to whom I must speak and try to appeal to their good senses. Goodbye for now, Mrs. Munn. Gentlemen, wait one moment, please.
Oh, Mr. Cannon, good afternoon.
How are you doing, Mrs. Munn?
Oh, it's so good to see you. It's been an interesting afternoon visiting with those who are in support of us and those in opposition. How is your wife? Is she still traveling?
Laura as well, and yes, she is in Parker right now, rallying support for the vote, working with Mormon women who strongly support women's suffrage. And she's very excited about the level of support she is finding in Arizona.
And they have helped the cause immensely.
Yes, and I will be joining them. Together, we plan to talk to working men all over the state. If women gain the vote, working people will be able to secure better conditions in industry.
And have so many more opportunities to protect their homes. Of course you know that.
Better conditions in industry for women? That's a man's role.
So say you, sir, but can you support them all?
I certainly support my wife.
Well, many women work for pay out of necessity. If we agree that the working man needs the ballot to protect his interests, can we not also agree that the working woman needs the ballot to protect her interests?
Aye.
Well, what of the many widows and unmarried women without such a protector?
They can get married.
As the miners of chloride stated, many of our mothers and sisters are employed in all lines of work, from the professions to industry. They are independent owners of property and taxpayers. Can we have a true democracy when half of the population is denied the right to participate in government?
No.
The vote for women is not a matter of sentiment, but a necessity. Not a matter of ethics, but of economics. The ballot is the most potent weapon that can be given to working women to protect themselves. With the labor union to protect their work and industry, and the ballot to supplement it politically, working women will achieve better conditions and decent pay.
Mr. Cannon, I could not have said it better myself. Oh dear.
Good day, Mr. Cannon. Are we sharing our socialist views again?
Hello, Mr. Cuniff. I am arguing for the sake of the working men and women.
I suspect that you support women's rights and hope that they join your union.
Of course, women's membership in the union will benefit both them and the union. We hope to continue our work for the 8-hour workday, workmen's compensation insurance, and the graduated income tax.
Bravo, yay.
For this, you need the woman's vote.
Mr. Cuniff, it is a matter of simple justice. With the vote, women can decide themselves whether or not they support these concerns.
I suppose your wife is still involved in this cause. How did you meet her anyways?
Well, the National American Women's Suffrage Association first brought Mrs. Cannon to Arizona. I was very pleased to make her acquaintance while we were both speaking in Arizona's mining towns. We courted, and I am delighted to say that she is now my wife. And yes, we continue to share many of the same interests.
You make quite a pair.
At long last, we find agreement. Now, if you'll excuse me. Good day, Mrs. Munns.
Mr. Cannon.
Mr. Cuniff.
So, Mr. Cuniff, I thought that you might find it interesting, despite your opposition and that of your friends. Last summer, we were able to acquire more than enough signatures to place the Women's Initiative on the ballot.
Mrs. Munn, it still surprises me that you're able to gain so many signatures. I am amazed.
Well, I suppose you wonder how I did it, so I'll go ahead and give you my secret. All of the socialists came on board, as well as most of the working men. The Democratic and Republican parties put the women's suffrage plank on both of their platforms, as did Teddy Roosevelt's Progressive Party. And John Lorenzo Hubbard, the Mexican-American Democratic Party leader, he's pro-suffrage as well as many other Mexican-American leaders.
I'm not really sure how you manage that. You are truly a majestic politician for a lady.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Cuniff. That is high praise. You have said that women shouldn't deal in the dirtiness of politics. Do you think it's hurt my womanly image, you?
Well, maybe. But I'm still working against the vote for women politicians and to prevent the determinant of women's place in the home.
So you've said many times.
I wonder, Mrs. Munns, which of the political parties will stand behind or get the support of women's votes if you're successful in this cause?
That is not for me to say. The women voters will decide that for themselves. Now, good day, Mr. Cuniff. I need to continue with my work.
Good day, Miss.
Why, Mrs., you're still here.
Mrs. Munns, and your name, sir?
Mr. Clark. My name is Warren Clark.
Mr. Clark, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. It's much easier to speak with you here than it is to respond to your loud comments from the crowd.
Well, I didn't mean to be rude. It's just that your ideas are so foreign to my way of thinking.
Mr. Clark, by any chance, do you have a daughter?
Why, yes, I do. Rebecca, my girl, is teaching school in a one-room schoolhouse down in Florence Way.
I see. And does she like her job?
I believe she likes teaching, although she does have to room with families in the district, and that can be trying.
I know how that is. I taught in rural Yavapai County myself.
You did? When?
When I was younger, and then I met and married Mr. Munns, but continued to teach for a few years while he built his business. Then I quit teaching to raise a family, and of course became active in the community of Prescott.
Prescott? You're from Prescott?
Yes,
By any chance, was your husband sheriff of Yavapai County?
yes, my husband is John Munns.
I've heard of him. Many people say he's a fine man.
That is true, I would agree with that. But Mr. Clark, I would like to know more about your daughter. Have you ever asked her if she would like the right to vote?
Well, I'm not sure. She has a mind of her own, that one. She does complain that the men teachers in the Florence district earn a higher salary for the same work.
And she is unmarried.
Why, yes, she is.
Who is to be her protector? Who's to vote for her rights?
As I said, I can protect my wife's interests.
But can you protect the rights of your unmarried daughter?
Well, you may have a point there.
Without the right to vote, your daughter is in the same category as illiterates and children and criminals.
Well, I don't know.
Did you know the world is changing, Mr. Clark? There are many women in the workplace. Did you hear about that terrible fire in New York? It was just last year, 1911. 143 people, mostly young women, were trapped and burned to death in the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. And a politician was asked, why didn't you do more to protect these young, innocent women? Do you know what he said? They can't vote, and therefore they don't influence politics.
Well, that may be, and that fire was terrible, but I must leave you now.
Good day, Mr. Clark. Oh, Mrs. Hughes, it's so good to see you again.
Oh, yes. Have you had a good afternoon?
Interesting, and for you?
Well, I have seen some old friends, and I've traded words with some old enemies. And I have met people who haven't even considered the question of women's suffrage. But I think I might have swayed some of them.
Oh, this has been a long, hard-fought battle, but I know that we are gaining so much support in the men of Arizona. They will not deny us the right to stand shoulder to shoulder with them in launching this new state.
Oh, yes. Just as in the pioneer days when our men placed a trusty rifle in our hands so we could defend the family as needed, they will surely give us the vote so we can protect our families and our homes.
And who knows, once we get the right to vote, some of us may run for office.
You sound quite optimistic. But I think Senator Francis Munns has a nice ring to it.
I cannot disagree. And for such a long, hard-fought battle, I know that we are winning. We will not be chained by chains and shackles for much longer. I just cannot abide by those men that still wish us to deprive us of our rights. I've been thinking of that poem by John G. Whittier. The last line, the kingliest of acts is the free man's vote.
Well said. And now, should I help you assemble literature?
I believe that it is time to call it a day.